Turning now to the forecast, we had some dry and very nice weather today, but looks like you're tracking some rain moving into our territory, Brad.
Yeah, dry through the evening, so no issues for the evening hours. But overnight, this rain is going to be moving in. So after, let's say, 7, 8 o'clock, maybe the southwestern counties will start to see some moisture. But it's really that system that plays a bigger part for the weekend. You see that batch of rain tonight. Most of tomorrow will just be a passing shower. And the first half of Saturday actually looks dry as well. Not until late Saturday, probably after dinner time, do we see the first batches of rain moving in, and yes, some snow for the North Carolina mountains. But here's the thing, a lot of this is going to be a cold rain. Occasionally we'll get a burst of heavy snow, possible in the Piedmont, but where that sets up and how much is really going to depend on how heavy the rainfall can be to bring some of that cold air down to the surface. Mountains are more of a sure bet for some snowfall in this setup, especially above, I'd say about 3,000 feet. There's a batch of rain tonight through tomorrow, but notice how dry it is for most of Saturday until we get to about 7 o'clock. That leading edge of rain moves in. You'll see the snow spreading into the mountains. The pink is likely going to be primarily rain or snow. We're not looking at a lot of ice in this setup. This is all cold rain on early Sunday. But as the upper low passes overhead, it'll allow for what we call dynamic cooling. That's essentially when the rain cools the column down close enough to the freezing mark. Doesn't have to be near freezing at the surface, just cold enough above our head. And if you bring that cold layer down close enough, the snow can survive its trip down to the surface, even though temperatures at the ground could be 35 to 40 degrees. It's not uncommon for that to happen if the cold air is only 1,000, 2,000 feet above our heads. That is often the case. So the snow chances right now, highest in the mountains. That's where you're looking at least a 50 to 70% chance. Across the Piedmont, it's not a huge chance right now, 10%. And again, it's mainly going to be rain. I'd say 90% of it's rain. The brief burst of snow will be short-lived and will melt pretty quickly. But there is going to be a lot of wind with this system. Strong northeast winds, your classic nor'easter setup here. With those winds howling, maybe as high as 40 miles an hour on Sunday. So just be prepared now. Any outdoor loose items probably need to be secured before the weekend hits, because as this low cranks up, that northeast wind will drive in here and you'll see the snow in the mountains. And again, a brief shot of snow possibly across the Piedmont before it exits. The reason the cold air aloft is really important, the upper low brings its own cold air with it. So when it passes overhead, it will lower the freezing height pretty close to the ground. Even though the temperature where we are is likely going to stay above freezing, you could still get snow. Now, if it stays thicker without the upper low and not a very strong one, it'll likely be rain. That's why the higher elevations will see snow, because remember, the mountains go up into this cold layer in either scenario, so you have a much better chance of seeing that snow reach the ground. Your Guy Roofing 7-day forecast shows the chance of a few wet snowflakes on Sunday, but most of the next 7 days continues to be way above average with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. So this is a one-day event, and it's really right on Sunday.